So Stephen A. Smith just dropped a video covering, the situation between Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark. Now, if you're new to women's basketball, if you're new to WNBA, you've probably heard of this situation between Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark, and Sheryl Swoopes just throwing like subliminal digs and maybe like little slights. But Stephen A. Smith is about to cover this, and just by off of the title, Caitlin Clark haters are insane. Stephen A. has been peddling this narrative, and the same narrative that a lot of people in her fan base, in Caitlin Clark's fan base, have been pushing as well. And maybe people outside of her fan base have been pushing this narrative that the players and people are jealous and hating on Caitlin Clark, and like haters. And then you ask the same people, it's like, okay, who are the haters? They can't give you names outside of Sheryl Swoopes. And Stephen A. Smith, basketball analyst Stephen A. Smith, has been the one to, has probably been the biggest peddler of this narrative. And this shit just gotta stop. I'm so sick of Stephen A. Smith like pushing this narrative and acting like he knows women's basketball and acting like he covers women's basketball. Because when Monica McNutt called him out, she was 100% correct. So we're going to get into this video, and I promise you, I'm stopping this every time Stephen A. Smith caps. All right. Without further ado, let's go.
Here's what Sheryl Swoopes had to say.
Okay.
Look at this quote.
All right.
I think the Olympic break really helped Indiana. I'm going to shout out to Lexi Hull. I'm a big Lexi Hull fan. Lexi Hull shot the leather off the ball in their game against Seattle. Kelsey Mitchell is just stroking. She's just shooting the basketball. Aaliyah Boston, almost a triple-double. If Indiana continues to play the way they're playing like this, they too are going to move up in the standings, end quote.
No mention of
so
Caitlin.
No Caitlin Clark. Sheryl Swoopes. No Caitlin Clark. Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look?
Let me pause it right there. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. And I guess I might as well just drop my take on Sheryl Swoopes and Caitlin Clark. Here's my take. Here's my honest take. I don't think Sheryl Swoopes has a problem with Caitlin Clark. As a player, as a person, I don't think Sheryl Swoopes has not one problem with Caitlin Clark. I think Sheryl Swoopes has a problem with everything else Caitlin Clark is bringing along with her. Not to any fault of Caitlin Clark. Like, she didn't pick how she got her fan base. And we're not going to get into that. But I just think Sheryl Swoopes' gripe is with the attention. I don't want to say attention as if it's a bad thing, but just the attention Caitlin Clark's getting. Not saying that she wants it for herself or she thinks it should be somewhere else. I just think she doesn't rock with the type of attention that Caitlin Clark gets. You get what I'm saying? So it's nothing to do with Caitlin Clark herself, but if someone doesn't like the attention that said person gets, what are they not going to do? They're not going to give that same person even more attention. Not that she hates Caitlin Clark, not that she dislikes Caitlin Clark, but she doesn't want to be the one to give extra gas or put more fuel on the fire. You get what I'm saying? That's my personal take on Sheryl Swoopes. I don't think Sheryl Swoopes has a problem with Caitlin Clark. I just think she doesn't like isn't 100% rocking with the aura. You get what I'm saying? Anyway, let's keep going.
Than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out of that soliloquy that you dropped about the Indiana Fever. Stop it. You know that. Stop it. Do you remember when I was on the air on ESPN and I got into it with Monica McNutt?
Mm-hmm.
Stephen A., I'm talking to you, Stephen A., if you had promoted the WNBA
right
more, if you had talked about it more, they would have played more games. Like I had the power to go up to ESPN and say, directors and producers and cameramans and everybody else flocked to the WNBA at the time when it wasn't nearly as popular as it was today.
Oh, no. Stephen A., no, sir. Because it wasn't as popular. First of all, that wasn't even Monica McNutt's point. But hold on. Whoa, Stephen A. Stephen A. Now we lying. Now we lying. How many times have we heard Stephen A. Smith say, hold on, this is my show. This is my show. How many times have we heard Stephen A. Smith say, oh, I got the power. What did he say? What did he say in the interview? I forget who it was. I got the power to take out the earpiece. Not ask that question. You had the authority. You have the power, right? To take out the earpiece. How many times have you said, oh, this is my show. This is how I run things. I'm the biggest thing. Like, they got to pay me. And now you don't have the say so in your company. Now you don't have the say so on your own show. So now you couldn't go to your board. You couldn't go to your company and say, hey, we should probably have a WNBA segment, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because it wasn't popular then. That's why you didn't do it. Stephen A. Smith, take the L against Monica McNutt, bro. Take the L, because all you're doing is all he keeps doing is backing himself into another corner that he made himself. Oh, so now you don't have, this man brags about the power he has on First Take. And now it's, I couldn't go to my board. I couldn't go to the higher ups to get them to cover more WNBA games. That is cap.
There's some buzz and it's a problem. No, it's a debate show. She has her opinion. I have mine. I happen to believe she was wrong. I happen to believe I was right. And I happen to believe the facts have shown that I was right.
What facts have shown that you're right, Stephen A? What facts have shown that? What you're doing right now is proving Monica McNutt right. You don't cover I cover the WNBA more than Stephen A, and I'm an average Joe. Take the L against Monica McNutt and just leave it, bro. You were not right in that situation. Monica McNutt was 100% correct.
Indiana Fever is breaking records. All Sheryl Swoopes did was validate all the speculation that there's folks hating on Caitlin Clark.
You have validation of one person hating on Caitlin Clark. That's Sheryl Swoopes. How is Stephen A. Smith saying that? So now, because Sheryl Swoopes slights Caitlin Clark, that means Caitlin Clark has multiple haters. One person slights Caitlin Clark and everyone's hating on her. The hate is validated. How does one person equate to everyone hating on Caitlin Clark? Y'all name one person. You only got Sheryl Swoopes. Okay, you want to bring up Kennedy Carter? Kennedy Carter been on 11 ever since she been in the league. And y'all tried to turn a heated moment in a basketball game into hate and jealousy, and to push this narrative of hate and jealousy. As if Kennedy Carter wasn't on the same type of timing when she went up against Sabrina Ionescu in past years. This narrative is so stupid, yo.
I ain't mad at them. I'm grateful to them. Thank you for setting the stage. Hell yeah. Ain't hate. Rising tide lifts all boats. Whatever it takes for everybody to get fed, I'm all for it.
A rising tide lifts all boats, right? Is that what's happening? This is for a completely different video, but the question I'd probably be asking in this other video, is that rising tide actually lifting all boats? Because here's Stephen A. Smith again talking about the WNBA, but who is he talking about? Caitlin Clark. I have yet to hear Stephen A. Smith talk about Kayla McBride, her hot three-point shooting. I've yet to hear Stephen A. Smith talk about Stephanie Dolson shooting 47% from three, minimum 150 attempts. I've yet to hear Stephen A. Smith say the name Nafisa Collier on air once. So this is really for another video, but rising tide lifts all boats? Or are you just talking about two boats being lifted right now? Rising tide lifts all boats. Is that what's happening, Stephen A. Smith? Topic for another video.
You a WNBA player? Caitlin Clark gonna get you paid. I'd figure out a way to be her friend.
Oh my Lord. Caitlin Clark gonna get you paid. Caitlin Clark is the meal ticket. You know what? This is one of the dumbest arguments ever, yo. It's one of the dumbest arguments ever, because are people just This isn't the first time players have had to deal with a player who probably makes more in endorsements than them. Understand, Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary is just the same as for all rookies, right? But yes, she does have more in endorsements, more in sponsorships. That's not the first time these players are playing against a player who makes more than them in sponsorships. Sabrina been in the league. Stewie been in the league. Asia Kelsey Plum been in the league. So what Stephen A basically saying is like, kiss the feet of Caitlin Clark. Kiss the feet of King Booker. What is this narrative? And you know what? You know what? You know what this all comes back to? This all comes back to the NBA. And this is my entire argument. Maybe, just maybe, if the players were making maybe a base salary of $500,000, we wouldn't be having these conversations. You know what we talk about when we mention the NBA and meal tickets? You know who we're talking about? We're talking about the 304s. We're talking about the BMs. We're talking about the thotties. When we talk meal ticket in the WNBA, we're talking about Caitlin Clark. These are the arguments that just, like, I'm so confused. But now I think to myself, you know what? If the players were actually paid, would we be having this conversation? Would we be having these, oh, hold on to the cape, kiss the feet, befriend Caitlin Clark? No, because everyone would be paid. Then people would probably be able to see that it is just competition. It's just sports competition. It's just basketball competition. Maybe everything just comes back to the fact that what I've been saying for years now. NBA, pay your players. And maybe we wouldn't be having these stupid ass conversations.
She was doing good things at LSU. Do y'all notice when she became relevant? When she was waving her hand over her face, mimicking what Caitlin Clark was doing to the competition before she ran into LSU and got bum rushed in the Final Four.
You mean the final?
That's what made Angel Reese popular en route to LSU winning the national championship a couple of years ago in women's college basketball.
Actually, that's not true. Actually, that's not true. And again, Stephen A. Smith, you would know this if you were in women's basketball space. For a good part of the time, I think Caitlin Clark only really passed Angel Reese going into the last year. But from freshman to maybe junior year, Angel Reese was more popular than Caitlin Clark. Like, Angel Reese's move from UMD to LSU, that was big news. And you actually saw more about Angel Reese at LSU than you really saw Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, when she was bodying the Big Ten, and then when she was bodying the whole March Madness tournament, I'm not saying Caitlin Clark wasn't famous. She had her fame, she had her clout. And she was killing everyone. She was killing everything in the Big Ten. But Angel Reese in college was more popular until they had that little, until Angel Reese taunted Caitlin Clark. That's when you saw Caitlin Clark shoot from like here to here. But to say, oh, Angel Reese blew up because of her riff with Caitlin, that is not why. No, Angel Reese was already known. If anyone blew up more so because of that, it was probably Caitlin Clark. So no, like Angel Reese had way more. Her celebrity status in college, I think, was a lot higher than Caitlin Clark's until she taunted. So that's not accurate, Stephen A.
The issue is she wasn't running from it. She embraced it. Sheryl Swoopes, take notes. You ain't playing no more. But you're a Hall of Famer and a champion and a basketball savant. You know good and damn well you had no business talking about the Indiana Fever without mentioning Caitlin Clark. Come on, Sheryl Swoopes. Come on.
All right. That's going to do it for this video. I just don't like when people that really aren't even in women's basketball like that are telling us of all the dynamics around women's basketball. Just talking out there, just yapping, yo. Just yapping. How many things like Stephen A. And I know it seems like I'm gutting at Stephen A. right now, but because I kind of am. I don't like when people are now in this. They think because they know a little bit or a little something about Caitlin Clark that they're women's basketball experts. Oh yeah, same basketball expert that chose Dallas in 6, right? Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. All love to Caitlin Clark. All love to Angel Reese. And guess what? All love to my WNBA players that I try to cover and I try to put the spotlight on as well. Because what gets lost, this rising tide lifts all boats, but not all boats are being lifted right now. So I try to do my best to showcase and highlight some of these players and highlight some of the storylines in the WNBA as well. That's all I got to say.